Today's news highlights. Date May 22, 2025. News highlights. After taking office, German Chancellor Angela Merkel released his openness to nuclear energy for the first time, symbolizing the closer energy policy of Germany and France and the strategic reorganization of the European Union. In response to the energy crisis and the Russia-Ukraine war, Germany will no longer insist on anti-nuclear and will invest in new nuclear technologies such as small modular reactors, and consider being included in the French nuclear umbrella to strengthen security cooperation. This move not only rewrites the energy map of Europe, but also warms relations between Germany and France. Scholars believe that Taiwan's transition to Germany should be carefully evaluated to ensure energy security. News highlights. Hyperlipidemia can easily cause heart disease, stroke, and other diseases, and must be actively controlled. Natural hypolipidemic foods such as apples, salmon, avocados, oats, natto, chia seeds, nuts, soy products, red yeast, and green tea can effectively reduce bad cholesterol and triglycerides. For breakfast, it is recommended to consume ingredients containing dietary fiber and high-quality fats, such as oatmeal, chia seeds, soy milk, fruits, etc. Paired with a low GI diet and a Mediterranean diet, and regular exercise such as ultra-jogging, can help stabilize blood lipids. If it cannot be improved, health foods such as fish oil and red yeast rice or medication-assisted treatment can be considered. News highlights. The central bank reported to the Legislative Yuan on the 21st that although the transaction volume of the housing market has declined recently, the housing price has not been significantly corrected. The central bank expressed concern that the balance of real estate loans is still at a record high and that bank funds are flowing excessively into real estate, and has not ruled out adjusting measures to crack down on property speculation. In response to the government's proposed establishment of a sovereign fund, the Ministry of Finance stressed the need to enact a special law for prudent planning and consider the issue of financial resources, while the central bank expressed its support for the establishment of an independent management body, but opposed the central bank's leadership, and suggested avoiding the use of foreign exchange reserves as a source of funds. News highlights. A 55-year-old woman mistakenly believed that she had a heel strain and did not seek medical attention immediately, and 6 months later, Achilles tendon was completely ruptured and her lower leg atrophied, but fortunately it was successfully repaired through minimally invasive surgery. Doctors warn that the Achilles tendon is the tendon that bears the most stress, and if the injury is neglected, it may lead to lifelong mobility difficulties. People over 50 years old should pay attention to signs such as heel pain and inability to tiptoe. Be sure to warm up before exercising, avoid excessive exertion, and strengthen calf muscles through tiptoe training to prevent tendon aging and injury. News highlights. The United States and its Asia-Pacific allies have warned of the rising military threat from the CCP and stressed the need to deepen cooperation to curb aggression. The U.S. military pointed out that the CCP has the ability to quickly deploy large-scale forces and continues to carry out military provocations against Taiwan and neighboring countries. The United States has deployed additional troops in Okinawa, strengthened military deployments and joint exercises with Japan, the Philippines, and other countries, and promoted intelligence sharing and command coordination. Senior military officials of various countries pointed out that the current regional security situation is the most tense in decades, and there is an urgent need to cooperate in building a deterrent force. News highlights. On the 19th, a 78-year-old driver in the Three Gorges of New Taipei caused a car accident with 3 deaths and 12 injuries, which aroused social concern. The Ministry of Transport announced that it will promote 3 major reforms in the management of elderly drivers' licenses, which are expected to be on the road in 2026, including lowering the license renewal age to 70 years old, adding training courses for accident driving, and encouraging voluntary surrender of driver's licenses. This is a move to improve road safety and respond to traffic risks in an aging society. News highlights. U.S. China competition is reshaping the global order, and the world is in a transition period from unipolar U.S. dominance to collective leadership by multiple powers. Lake, a professor at the University of California, pointed out that this competition is not a Cold War-style confrontation, but a struggle between the two sides to gain more influence within the existing international system. Trumpism weakens the multilateral leadership role of the United States and accelerates institutional fragmentation. Non-Western countries seek strategic autonomy and are reluctant to simply choose sides. In the future, global governance needs to be more inclusive and coordinated, and rely on major countries to jointly promote institutional reform and cooperation to establish a stable and pluralistic new order. News highlights. NVIDIA announced that its Taiwan office will be located in Shilin Science Park, Baidu, Taipei, which led to a surge in related Shilin 3 treasures and a number of construction stocks. In the second half of the year, the total sales of Runtai's new Runtai Forest of 7.5 billion yuan attracted the most attention, and many cases such as Far Glory, Huigu, Guande, and Changhong were launched, with a total sales amount of more than 10 billion yuan. The headquarters of Huida has been stationed in the region to drive regional development, and related stocks such as Huigu, Dali, and Far Glory have performed well, and the market is optimistic that Beishike will become a hot area for technology and housing in the future. News highlights. 40 senior managers from across industries gathered at Foresight. Lead the Impact Academy and learn the latest technology from AI authority Yang Jiang. Yang Jiang is the first member of the American Association for Artificial Intelligence, and has helped Hawaii establish an AI lab and served as the chief AI officer of WeBank, promoting cutting-edge technologies such as federated learning and transfer learning. Federated learning can achieve cross-enterprise collaboration without exchanging data, improve data privacy and application efficiency, and has been widely used in the fields of finance, energy, and healthcare. Transfer learning can help AI exert influence across domains, such as poverty assessment in Africa. The course emphasized the need for leaders to master AI strategies to respond to a rapidly changing market. News highlights: Google announced the relaunch of the Google Glass Smart Glasses project at the I/O Developer Conference on May 20, U.S. time, and released a new generation of products ahead of schedule, which attracted market attention. Taiwan's new 2,455 exclusive supply of GaN key materials has become the biggest winner, and HTC has also benefited from supply chain cooperation. Powered by the Android XR platform, the new Google Glass features a camera, microphone, speaker, and embedded display, which can work with mobile phones and provide real-time translation, navigation, and more. Google has also partnered with Warby Parker, Gentle Monster, and Kering to promote the development of smart glasses and demonstrate its determination to seize the AI glasses market. News highlights: legislator Kwok Kwok Man questioned in the Finance Committee whether the life insurance industry should still be approved to distribute cash dividends despite the huge profits of the life insurance industry in 2024, but the Taiwan dollar has appreciated by more than 9% since April. Peng Jinlong, chairman of the Financial Supervisory Commission, said that the review process is still under review, and life insurers will be asked to consider carefully to avoid difficulties in increasing capital in the future. Far Glory Life Insurance has been approved to distribute dividends of 540 million yuan, but the total application for dividends of more than 24 billion yuan by Fubon, Taiwan, Hiku, and KGI is still pending, and the review results are uncertain. Peng stressed that a number of factors will be deducted from the dividend distribution, and the payment of cash dividends must follow the procedures, and the industry should be cautious in evaluating before approval. News highlights: Wolfspeed, a global leader in silicon carbide, SiC, intends to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection due to weak industrial and automotive markets and tariff uncertainty. This news encouraged the share prices of Hanlei, Jiajing, and Mao Silicon in Taiwan's power semiconductor supply chain to rise strongly, and the industry expects related orders to flow out of Taiwanese factories. Hanlei and Jiajing cooperate in the division of labor, respectively responsible for wafer foundry and Leijing manufacturing, which is competitive. VIS cooperated with Hanlei to expand the production capacity of 8-inch silicon carbide wafers. Pengcheng and Mosilicon will also benefit and join forces to seize the Category 3 semiconductor market. With its technological advantages and lower tariffs, Taiwanese manufacturers are expected to gain business opportunities in the restructuring of the global supply chain. News highlights: the yield on the 30-year Treasury bond in the United States exceeded 5% on the 21st, triggering selling pressure in the global bond market to spread to Japan, the United Kingdom and Germany, reflecting the market's confidence in the fiscal soundness of various countries and the central bank's policy. Higher yields mean higher borrowing costs, which could affect global economic growth and emerging market flows. Experts pointed out that this is a structural change in the demand of the bond market, and the long-term cost of funds may continue to rise, bringing financial risks and economic recession concerns. News highlights: the 61-year-old aerobic king Pan Ruati became popular for imitating Celine Dion, and was recently hit with a BMW X5 M40i modified car with a price of nearly 4 million yuan. Appeared in the Huashi video, hooking up with the anchor friend Cai Yifan and interacting warmly. Pan replaced and upgraded the Lexus SUV, which he had been driving for 10 years, and the body coating became eye-catching chameleon green, which was eye-catching. The agent emphasized that the two are friends in the same door, often recording and exercising together, and their feelings are simple, and there is no need for excessive speculation from the outside world. News highlights: the No. 2 unit of Taipower's No. 3 nuclear plant No. 3 was decommissioned on May 17, and Taiwan officially entered the non-nuclear homeland on the 18th. However, Kaohsiung City Councilor Chu Yuxuan broke the news that the No. 3 and No. 4 coal-fired units of the Xingda power plant, which had expired, were quietly running on the 21st, and criticized the government for asking citizens to use their lungs to generate electricity. The EPA's lack of knowledge of the situation has raised questions. Taipower responded that due to the lack of standby capacity, the standby unit was activated in accordance with regulations, and it has been reported to the Environmental Protection Bureau, and it is expected to operate until this Friday. News highlights: YouTuber Andy complained that his ex-girlfriend Jianning's family took away the channel and left the house, which aroused sympathy from netizens. However, it has recently been revealed that Andy's private life was chaotic during his relationship, and he frequently went out to sexual places. Jianning announced in the community last night that the truth video will be released on YouTube at 6 o'clock tonight, and it is speculated that the outside world will respond to the turmoil. Netizens called on both parties to clarify the accounts and emotional separation, and questioned the direction of the hype to shift the focus. News highlights: 78-year-old Yu Wenzheng drove into the Three Gorges of New Taipei on the 19th, causing 3 deaths and 12 injuries, and the outside world suspected that he maliciously chased and collided with the female knight. After checking the dash cam, the police preliminarily ruled out that the crime was intentional, saying that there were no abnormal words and emotions during the driving. Yunnan was seriously injured and in a coma for many days, and today, 22nd, he is awake, and the police have gone to the hospital to make a record to clarify the cause of the accident. News highlights Huang Zijiao and Meng Zhengru have quietly completed their divorce after being exposed, ending their 5-year marriage, and it is rumored that the woman has obtained child custody, and Huang is responsible for child support. The lawyer did not deny the news of the divorce positively, only said that the main focus is on settling the children at present. Meng Zhengru once felt guilty for the death of his relatives and Huang Zijiao's suicide, and he did not divorce for a long time. Despite the rumors that they had been separated, residents of the community still witnessed the two people entering and leaving with their children last month. News highlights the major car accident in the Three Gorges of New Taipei caused 3 deaths and 12 injuries, which aroused social concern, and actress Hu Weining went to the scene to mourn and shoot a video to share, attracting netizens to criticize her for rubbing traffic and disrespecting the deceased. Hu said that as a mother, he was heartbroken and prayed for the deceased, but netizens thought that they should mourn in a low-key manner, otherwise they would be even more disgusted. Hu has not responded to the criticism. News highlights in order to accompany her sick father, Cao Yan, the queen of golden songs, shaved her head to express her determination to fight the disease with her father, which touched many fans. Her figure of taking care of her father in the hospital was photographed by netizens, and her thin appearance was distressing. Cao Yan also thanked her for her concern and said that she would work hard with her father. As an only child, she returned to Tainan to accompany her father after work, showing her deep filial piety. News highlights host Huang Zijiao was sentenced to 8 months in prison for buying underage sexual images, and it is rumored that he signed a divorce with his wife Meng Zhengru, ending his 5-year marriage. Meng Zhengru's godmother Zhou Danwei said that she didn't know the inside story of the divorce, but said that Meng Zhengru still showed a positive attitude recently. The agents of both sides did not respond, and lawyer Huang Zijiao did not deny the matter, emphasizing that it is important to maintain calm at present. News highlights millions of YouTubers crowd-wait former couple Andy and Jianing went to court over a dispute over profit and management rights, and Jianing's family was suspected of tax evasion. Recently, a friend of Jianing broke the news, accusing Andy of going in and out of the sensual place before breaking up, questioning his infidelity. Jianing announced that the truth will be disclosed on the evening of the 22nd, which has attracted attention. However, netizens reacted polarly, questioning his motives and demanding to explain the financial problems first, and the incident continued to burn. News highlights actor Liang Hekin's wife Zhou Yuding suddenly felt hearing loss in her right ear accompanied by a murmur a few days ago, and was diagnosed with ear stroke. She recovered successfully after hospitalization and thanked the Taipei Rong General Medical Team. The doctor reminded that ear stroke is an emergency, and if it is treated within 72 hours, there is a 70% chance that hearing can be restored, and the public should seek medical attention as soon as possible if they have symptoms such as tinnitus, congestion, and distortion, so as not to miss the golden treatment period. News highlights Jolin Tsai is about to release a new album Pleasure after 6 years, which has aroused fans' expectations. Recently, some mainland netizens dug up the suspected resurgence of her and Peng Yuan's old relationship, pointing out that the two have had frequent community interactions in recent years, and the same rose was posted on Valentine's Day in 2019, which was questioned and reunited. The two have been rumored to have been in a relationship in the past, although they have not publicly admitted it. Cai's father has indirectly confirmed it. Recently, Jolin Tsai and Peng Yuan appeared in the same place in the UK, which once again triggered romance speculation. News highlights the New Taipei Three Gorges car accident caused 3 deaths and 12 injuries, shocking the whole country. Actress Hu Weining went to the scene of the accident yesterday to mourn, but uploaded a video of the worship process on IG, which caused controversy. In the film, she buys sacrifices and videos the scene to mourn and criticize the behavior of the old man who caused the accident. This move was criticized by netizens for rubbing traffic and disrespecting the deceased, and the messages flooded his community, causing heated discussions and disgust. News highlights the well-known internet celebrity Gu Amo's Iron Gym invested in a series of closures, and the Nangang and Taichung Nantan stores closed without warning, resulting in a loss of nearly 2 million for hundreds of members. Gu Amo issued a statement to clarify, emphasizing that he is only an investor holding 20% of the shares, and has no real right to operate, and the leader is Chairman Liu Yusheng. He said that he had also borrowed 20 million to assist in capital turnover, and now he has become a victim like the public, and called on the victim members to fill out the refund application form as soon as possible. News highlights Huang Zijiao and Meng Zhengru confirmed their divorce on May 21, ending their 5-year marriage, which attracted attention from the outside world. Huang Zijiao's image has been hit hard since he was involved in the Me Too turmoil in 2023, and it has also affected Meng Zhengru's acting career. In this regard, Wu Zongxian, the king of variety shows, once again criticized Huang Zijiao as a cancer in the entertainment industry, bluntly saying that he should be responsible and stay away from his wife and daughter, and even emphasized, social death should not come back. Wu Zongxian supported Meng Zhengru's divorce, called on her to start a new life with her children, and said that society would accept her again. News highlights Taiwanese Golden Song Queen Cao Yan resolutely shaved her long hair and changed her head to show her flat head in order to accompany her 68-year-old father who was ill. Recently, some netizens witnessed her accompanying her father in the hospital, describing her thin figure, which is distressing. Cao Yan also reposted the post and said, "My dad and I will work hard," showing a strong will. Regarding his father's illness, the agent said that it was private and refused to disclose it. News highlights a foreign track and field athlete at the 2025 Shuangbei World Prime Age Games was sent to the hospital on the 20th due to sepsis after completing the registration, and unfortunately passed away at noon on the 21st. The athlete reported on the 15th and originally planned to participate in the track and field event, but there was no abnormality before the incident. The executive committee of the conference expressed deep condolences. The governments of Taipei and New Taipei City launched an emergency assistance mechanism, and the director of the Sports Bureau, Yu Ziping, has expressed condolences to the family and will continue to assist in follow-up matters. News highlights Lai Baby Room, 2911, announced that it will completely end production in its own factories from the end of 2024 and switch to outsourced production to optimize the cost structure and improve gross profit margin. In the past, the capacity utilization rate of its own factories was about 50%, and the output of the plant in 2023 was 427,000 units, which will be reduced to 0 units in 2024. The company focused its resources on design, sales, and brand management, and converted the original factory into a third-party logistics base to increase logistics revenue. In the face of the declining birth rate and the shrinking Chinese market, Lai Yingfang continued to lose money, with a loss of about 670 million yuan to be made up as of the end of March this year, and the stock price fell sharply, with about 37,000 shareholders. News highlights Wolfspeed, a major silicon carbide manufacturer in the United States, declared bankruptcy and its stock price was cut in half, causing market shocks. Xie Jinhe, founder of Cakes and Media, pointed out that the rise of electric vehicles in 2020 has driven the third-generation semiconductor silicon carbide and gallium nitride to become popular, but China's rapid rise with state support and leading crystal growth technology has led to a Red Sea in the market. Wolfspeed's market share was divided among a number of Chinese companies, and it continued to lose money, fundraising was blocked, and eventually bankruptcy became inevitable. Xi also quoted Nvidia's Jensen Huang as warning that China's development of cheap chips and AI could threaten the status of the U.S. semiconductor industry. News highlights the old man surnamed Yu was still hospitalized for surgery after the accident and could not be investigated. The police investigation found that he had been driving around the road for about 20 minutes before the incident and did not chase the female knight, who looked calm and showed no signs of driving disputes. The monitor and dashcam show that the remaining vehicles are stable and there is no violent collision or quarrel. Police found the dumped pink round ice in the car and are being sent for examination. The scene of the accident became a memorial hall, people placed flowers to mourn, and witnesses said that the incident was shocking and the atmosphere in the school was sad. News highlights the Harvard School of Public Health followed 490,000 people for 15 years and found that the higher the intake of whole milk, the higher the risk of chronic liver disease and liver cancer. Low-fat dairy products and yogurt have a protective effect. Physician Huang Xian pointed out that whole milk may promote the risk of liver lesions and carcinogenesis due to higher residues of insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, saturated fatty acids and estrogen. He recommends that more low-fat dairy products and sugar-free yogurt can help reduce the risk of death from chronic liver disease. However, this study is observational, and it is not possible to confirm absolute causation. News highlights Sinosteel, 2002, today, 22nd, started the shareholders meeting souvenir light cold water bottle to receive. The first day of the opening of the Q-Tide, some of the base opened less than half an hour to announce the stock, causing shareholders to rush to more points to claim. Sinosteel emphasized that the stock is sufficient, and suggested that shareholders make more use of the various service bases of Sinopac Gold Securities to disperse the crowd. The cold water bottle is made of medium steel titanium, with a capacity of 380 ml, which is lightweight and resistant to acid and alkali and corrosion. Those holding more than 1,000 shares can redeem them from 5/20 to 5/28. And those with less than 1,000 shares can collect them at the shareholders meeting or designated locations after electronic voting. With more than 1.29 million shareholders, Sinosteel has a variety of ways to receive souvenirs, encouraging shareholders to arrange their redemption time reasonably. News highlights Tao Jingying shared her recent situation on Threads on the 21st, revealing that since she hosted the 55th Golden Horse Awards in 2018, she has not served as the host of the 3 gold ceremonies for 7 years. She said that she did not want to host anymore, but was forbidden to participate in the hosting, and emphasized that this was not opposed by her family, but rejected by people who have the right to decide, with a little helplessness in her tone. News highlights Kong Linky, the 76th generation grandson of Confucius, made the good news of his marriage public on May 20th, and met Malaysian Chinese socialite Eunice Jamie online in 2023. News highlights U.S. Republican congressman sent a letter to the executives of Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt Regency on the 21st, solemnly concerned about their use of the term Taiwan, China on their websites and in their posts, emphasizing that this use is inconsistent with the position of the U.S. government, implying that Taiwan belongs to China and is not conducive to democratic and important Taiwan. The congressman asked for clarification on the hours of use and whether it was instructed by China, and urged the hotel to correctly label Taiwan as an independent entity, in line with U.S. policy toward Taiwan, following the example of other U.S. companies. The letter also mentions a 2024 letter signed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and other departments, calling on the world's top 500 companies to correctly refer to Taiwan. News highlights Li Yingfeng, 2,911, has been losing money year after year, with a loss of about 670 million yuan to be made up as of the end of March this year, and yesterday announced that it would end production in its own factory by the end of 2024, fully change to outsourced production, and transform the factory into a third-party logistics base. The company said that this move will improve the cost structure, increase gross margin, reduce inventory, and increase product flexibility, and will continue to develop e-commerce and expand sales channels. The revenue of Li Yingfeng in the first quarter was 630 million yuan, the after-tax loss was 109 million yuan, and the net value per share fell to 3.23 yuan. News highlights OpenAI announced the acquisition of IO, an AI device startup co-founded by Apple's former chief design officer Jony Ive, in an all-stock deal of about $6.5 billion, making it the largest acquisition in OpenAI's history. The deal, which includes a $5 billion cash acquisition and a 23% stake acquired in the partnership last year, is expected to close this summer. The acquisition will bring about 55 hardware and software experts to help OpenAI build consumer-grade AI devices. Ive and OpenAI CEO Altman expect the first device to be unveiled in 2026, emphasizing that it will be a new type of product that will not replace smartphones, but create a new AI product situation. News highlights on the 21st, the Transportation Committee of the Legislative Yuan reviewed the budget freeze of the Ministry of Communications, the Ministry of Digital Development, and the Public Works Commission. DPP legislator Lin Chunqian said that the KMT did not dare to oppose the thaw, satirizing that a general recall can cure all diseases, but stressed that the substantial reduction of the budget in the past has caused serious damage that is irreparable. He pointed out that although the original 8.6 billion yuan of the Ministry of Digital Development was frozen, 1.7 billion yuan was frozen, but the actual reduction amounted to 3.6 billion yuan, which had a huge impact on the operation of the ministry. News highlights internet celebrity Four-Pronged Cat has become popular because it often comments on political current affairs, and recently posted the 113 annual comprehensive tax bill, revealing that a number of media announced that the fee was lucrative, thanks to Kuomintang legislator Su Kioxin and former chairman of the People's Party K Wens for making him a lot of money. He recalled in the show that he had a good relationship with Su Kioxin in the past, and the two had exchanges on the issue of same-sex marriage, but last year because Su Kioxin was involved in the house, it was more controversial, and he took pictures from upstairs and publicly criticized passers-by, which caused the dissatisfaction of the Four-Pronged Cat, and the two turned against each other. He also supervised Su Kioxin, moved his household registration into his constituency, and actively participated in the general recall movement. News highlights the Shuanei Recall Group completed the second phase of the joint signature of Kuomintang Yanghe legislator Lin Defu and Zhanghe legislator Zhang Zhilun, and sent more than 120% of the threshold signatures, becoming the first case in the country to promote the recall of two districts at the same time. The leader, Minnie, was born in a dark blue family, and criticized the Kuomintang for degeneration, pointing out that Zhang Zhilun arbitrarily deleted the budget and escorted controversial bills, which involved opening Chinese manufacturers to enter the outlying islands and threatening Taiwan's security. Many called on the public to turn their anger into voting power, show the voice of Shuanei on the ground, and resolutely push for the recall. News highlights today, 22nd, it is generally hot in Taiwan, and the high temperature in southern Taiwan has a chance to soar above 38 degrees. Tainan, Kaohsiung, Pingtung, and Yunlin and other places have issued high temperature orange light warnings, and Zhonghua, Qi, and Hualien are yellow lights. Only Huadong and Hengchun Peninsula have scattered short showers in Taiwan. Meteorological experts predict that the front will move southward from this Saturday, and showers will turn to the north and east of the central region, and the rain will be obvious during the Dragon Boat Festival holiday, especially south of Taichung, which is likely to rain for about 9 consecutive days. Since late June, the atmospheric environment has been conducive to the formation of typhoons, and the public is reminded to pay close attention to the latest weather forecast. News highlights with the resurgence of the new crown epidemic and the CDC expecting a peak in June, physician Ding Mengchong called on the chosen one to stop being iron-toothed, because this wave of the epidemic is highly contagious and has severe symptoms. Many people who had not been infected in the past have also been diagnosed, reflecting the ferocity of the virus. The recent surge in the number of medical visits, the increase in severe cases and deaths, and the epidemic is likely to continue into July. The doctor reminds that in addition to the typical symptoms of fever and cough, atypical symptoms such as colds and gastroenteritis should also be alert, and if there is shortness of breath or persistent discomfort, seek medical attention as soon as possible. News highlights: actress Lynn Katie made her debut as a model, and became popular for her cosplay One Piece character Snake Queen, and was named the live-action version of Snake Queen. She has a hot body and often shares her life in the community. After 520, she posted a set of beautiful photos of Bali's nude pedal bath on IG, showing her snow-white beautiful back with her back to the camera, sexy and fresh, attracting fans to praise art photos. Lynn Katie has experienced turmoil in the past, and now she has a stable relationship with her boyfriend outside the circle, and her popularity is high, and she recalls the experience of living in Bali for a long time, and interacts enthusiastically with fans. News highlights: as the saying goes, if one person attains the Tao, the chicken and the dog ascend to heaven, some mothers can drive the happiness and success of the whole family because of their strong family luck. Among the 12 zodiac signs, the mother of the zodiac rat and the zodiac ox is especially prosperous. The mother rat is smart and witty, good at perceiving the needs of the family, managing the family well, managing the housework and educating the children, so that the family is full of vitality and security. Mother Niu is known for her hard work and tenacity, and her practical efforts to maintain family stability and harmony, become a strong backing for her husband and children, and bring long-term prosperity and happiness. These mothers became indispensable pillars of the family and were highly respected. News highlights: the Day of Forgiveness is the most auspicious day of the year in numerology, and is regarded as a good day for God's forgiveness of calamities, which is suitable for changing luck, eliminating disasters, and seeking wealth. In 2025, there will be 6 days of amnesty, namely 3/10, 5/25, 7/24, 8/7, 10/6, and 12/21, of which 5/25 is coming. The focus of the Day of Amnesty prayer includes saying good words, doing good deeds, prohibiting killing, and preparing offerings such as vegetarian biscuits, gold paper, longan, lotus flowers, tea, and confessions, with the best time to worship is from 5 AM to 3 PM. In addition, Amnesty Day is also a good time to replenish your treasury, change your wallet, wear new clothes, cut your hair, and splash your home with 168 coins to boil money to help your fortune prosper. News highlights: in 2022, Taishan Enterprise, a major food factory, will compete for the right to operate, and Chairman Zhang Jingchao is suspected of using Taiwan Kaikai funds to speculate on the stock price and prevent the market from absorbing equity. At the same time, it sold off its shares in Family Mart and made a profit of nearly 5.5 billion yuan. Without the approval of the board of directors, Zhang Nan privately spent 70 million yuan to buy famous paintings and paid high intermediary fees. The investigation bureau interviewed 12 people, including Zhang Jingchao and Chu Yuyun, the director of the Taiwan Development Bureau, who were ordered to hand over bail for violating the Securities and Exchange Law, and were restricted from leaving the country and implementing technological surveillance. The stock exchange also imposed a penalty of 2.5 million yuan on Taishan. News highlights: Wang Vinyang, the 74-year-old president of Hung Gren Group, was accused by a woman surnamed Song of being adopted and gave birth to a child when he was in college, and the child was 5 years old. Gender expert Xingxia analyzed that Wang Vinyang's personality does not like coercion, and he may pay in installments as agreed, and Song News pressure is self-defeating, but the compensation has shrunk significantly, even less than a few million, and it is recommended to deal with this matter carefully. News highlights: at a construction site in the section of Chang'an East Road, Zhongshan District, Taipei City, a rusty mortar shell about 15 to 20 centimeters long was dug up during construction at about 9 o'clock this morning, and workers immediately called the police. The police cordoned off the scene and notified the military anti-explosion team to deal with it, and no one was injured. The construction site is a dilapidated reconstruction of the Xiongdu Hotel. The building has not yet been demolished, and the mortar shell is suspected to be hidden under the floor on the first floor, and the military has arrived at the scene to remove the operation. News highlights: the Penghu County government has distributed the Dragon Boat Festival Respect for the Elderly and Peace gifts from today, benefiting about 20,864 elderly people over 65 years old, each of whom can receive 5,000 yuan, which is expected to be distributed before June 20th. Chen Guangfu, the county magistrate, said that the 3-day pension for the elderly has been raised to 15,000 yuan per person, and the condolence fund for the physically and mentally disabled has also been increased, and the condolence fund for the disabled during this year's Dragon Boat Festival is 3,000 yuan, and will be remitted to the account on May 23rd. The county government emphasizes the continuous construction of an all-age welfare system, and is committed to promoting people's livelihood policies and infrastructure to ensure the happiness and peace of mind of residents. Those who fail to collect it can make a replacement from July 1st to 7, and it will not be processed after the deadline. News highlights: at the end of March, a man surnamed Li in Tainan suddenly threw 6 million yuan in real banknotes on the sidewalk, saying that the money is moldy at home, and it is taken out to bask in the sun, causing people to look sideways and call the police. 4 days later, when he went to the supermarket to receive the package, he was dissatisfied with the clerk's request for identity verification, and actually threw out 6,000 yuan banknotes and made a loud noise, and the police sent him to the office and fined 6,000 yuan in violation of the Social Security law. Li Nan has been fined many times in the past for making trouble, and local residents have called him a household name, and the police do not dare to offend him easily. News highlights Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, legislator Fan Yunjin accompanied a number of victims who were sexually assaulted and molested by their cousins to hold a press conference, calling for the amendment of Article 80 of the criminal law, arguing that the right to prosecute juvenile sexual assault should be counted from the age of majority, and asking the Ministry of Justice to propose a revised version of the law as soon as possible. The victim, Wu Nu, accused her cousin of long-term sexual assault by the police, and she could not be prosecuted because the statute of limitations had expired, which aroused social concern. Fan Yun criticized the current system for failing to hold police responsible for sexual assault, and called on the KMT to allow the Constitutional Court to allow the constitutional interpretation of the right to prosecute child sexual assault to enter the substantive review as soon as possible. The Commission also recommended that supporting measures for civil claims should be developed at the same time. News highlights We often discard the stems and peels of fruits and vegetables, but we ignore the nutrients contained in these food wastes. For example, the sulforaphane content of broccoli stems and young shoots is much higher than that of flower bulbs, which has anti-cancer and antioxidant effects. The white fascia of bell pepper is rich in carotenoids and vitamin C, which enhance immunity. Carrot leaves, pumpkin peels, apple peels, celery leaves, pineapple hearts, and white radish leaves are also rich in antioxidants and vitamins. Making good use of these parts not only improves health, but also avoids waste and promotes sustainable eating. News highlights Taiwan stocks opened lower on the 22nd, falling more than 200 points. Most of the stocks were weak, but shipping stocks bucked the trend and rose more than 2% in the intraday, leading all kinds of stocks. Wanhai Shipping, 2615, became the main stock, and once rose by 126.5 yuan in intraday trading. The Shanghai Container Freight Index rose sharply, especially the soaring freight rates of the western and eastern routes of the United States, which encouraged the container shipping industry to profit from the outlook for revenue. The legal person is optimistic about the truce of the U.S.-China tariff war, which will drive the demand for holiday freight, and raise the ratings of Evergreen, Yangming, and Wanhai to buy. Although Wanhai lost money in April due to the tariff war and foreign exchange losses, it is expected that its revenue and profit will rebound in May. News highlights the U.S. stock market was shaken by Trump's announcement of tariffs, and Hackett, a 19-year-old college student, bucked the trend and bought ETFs through Robinhood, believing that the market would rebound. Retail investors have been net buyers of $50 billion in equities since April, making an average monthly profit of 12%, outperforming institutional safe haven funds. Many retail investors are bullish on long-term value and are taking advantage of DIPs in technology stocks. Experts warn of risks, but retail investors are calmly buying and gradually becoming the dominant force in the market, replacing the influence of institutional investors. News highlights Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te announced the creation of a sovereign wealth fund with the goal of strengthening Taiwan's industrial competitiveness, rather than supporting specific countries. Gao Xiaongui, vice chairman of the National Development Council, stressed that the establishment of the sovereign wealth fund will not be diverted, and the financial resources will be reviewed by the executive yuan, which may include foreign exchange reserves or tax surpluses, and take into account the overall fiscal and economic situation. The sovereign wealth fund will have both financial and strategic functions, and will focus on national wealth appreciation and industrial innovation and transformation in parallel with the National Development Fund. The outside world is concerned about whether to rebet on the United States, and Gao Xiaongui denies this statement. News highlights CITIC Housing pointed out that housing prices in Kaohsiung had risen rapidly due to the blessing of TSMC and industrial parks, but the housing market has cooled down recently, and housing prices in most administrative districts have corrected, with a decline of 0.7% to 16.4%. Only Qianzhen District and Qiongjin District still maintained positive growth due to major construction projects such as good living functions in proximity to the Asian New Bay Area and software parks. The main reasons for the correction in house prices include the overall market wait-and-see, high prices prompting buyers to turn to second-hand houses, and some homeowners making concessions to speed up transactions. Due to the large price difference between new and old houses and the weakening of buying gas, the average price fell the most. Overall, the Kaohsiung housing market is expected to enter a period of consolidation. News highlights a major car accident occurred in the Three Gorges on the 19th, and 78-year-old driver Yu Wensheng crashed into passers-by, resulting in 3 deaths and 12 injuries. On the 21st, there was good news, in which a 14-year-old female student surnamed Lu was sober, could slide her mobile phone and cared about when she would return to school, causing everyone to be moved to tears. Liu's mother said that the focus is now on her daughter's recovery, and the victim's family has begun to discuss compensation. News highlights: a 43-year-old man surnamed Lin in Kaohsiung was killed and dumped in the Pingtung Mountains due to a drug dispute. The police arrested the 43-year-old female suspect surnamed Huang and 3 other people involved in the case, both of whom were zombie smoke and ammunition heads. The case occurred on May 7. Huang Nu asked Lin Nan to negotiate, and the two sides clashed over a dispute over the transfer of goods, and Lin Nan was imprisoned and beaten to death. The police investigation found that the suspect frequently entered and exited the motel, and arrested after bloodstains were found in the trunk of the vehicle, and Lin Nan's body was also found in the Pingtung Mountains, and the whole case was sent to the police for homicide. News highlights: the corruption case of Zhang Wenquan, former mayor of Dawan and former chairman of the Straits Exchange Foundation, was tried again at 9:50 a.m. today, 22nd. Cheng Wenquan is accused of accepting a bribe of $5 million in the expansion of the Lingkao Industrial Zone 5 Industrial Zone, and is currently restricted from living and leaving the country for 8 months along with 4 other defendants. On the day of the trial, Zhang Wenquan looked thin and grey-haired, only nodded to the media without saying a word, and walked quickly into the courtroom. News highlights: on the eve of the inauguration anniversary of President 520, Li Qingde was interviewed by Japanese media for the first time, and was in the same frame as Sho Sakurai, a member of Arashi, and was also interviewed by the podcast Mindy's Selected Readings. Former legislator Guo Zhengliang criticized Li Qingde for not inviting domestic mainstream and American media, questioning his lack of strategy of not looking for American media, and this move made the mainstream media of the Green camp dissatisfied, especially Sanli, Liberty and other media expressed displeasure with the choice of Mindy's interview, believing that Li used this to show goodwill to the British Department, and Freedom did not even broadcast the news of the interview, which caused internal dissatisfaction. News highlights: the Labor Insurance Bureau of the Ministry of Labor announced that a number of allowances will be issued in May, and the National Pension Insurance Maternity Benefit will be issued on the 22nd, and those who meet the conditions can receive 39,522 yuan. This benefit is available to women who give birth or are born prematurely during the period of national pension insurance and who have not received other Social Security maternity benefits. The standard of payment is 19,761 yuan per month, which is doubled according to the number of births, with twins receiving 4 months and triplets receiving 6 months. The Labor Insurance Bureau reminds that if a person gives birth due to the same pregnancy accident within 1 year after surrender, he must apply within 5 years from the date of delivery, and no payment will be made after the deadline. There are still 13 payments to be disbursed by the end of May. News highlights: the new crown epidemic has been heating up for 6 consecutive weeks, and the CDC is expected to peak in mid to late June. Zhang Yuhao, an otolaryngologist, pointed out that the 3 major symptoms of this wave of epidemic are sore throat, fever, and tiredness, and the symptoms come quickly and comprehensively, and the drug relief effect is limited and the contagion is strong. He suggested that the 3 major measures for epidemic prevention are frequent hand washing, wearing masks, and vaccination against COVID, Streptococcus pneumoniae, pertussis and influenza, and stressed that micro-isolation, normal work and rest, exercise, and nutritional supplements, vitamins, zinc, probiotics, and herbs, can effectively enhance immunity and reduce the risk of infection. News highlights: President Li Qingde instructed the National Security Team to plan a briefing on the national security situation to the chairman of the opposition party, and Kuomintang chairman Chu Lailun said that he had received a phone call from Pan Mengan, Secretary General of the Presidential Office, and was waiting for the government to arrange relevant matters. Chu Lailun stressed that Zhang Yazhong, the general principal of Sun Wen School, announced his candidacy for the chairman of the Kuomintang, which will be handled in accordance with the party constitution and election methods. In addition, he called for opposition to malicious recalls, hoped for political harmony in Taiwan, and hoped that Li Qingde and the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, would pull back from the precipice and jointly promote political stability. News highlights: the Legislative Yuan, Blue and White, joined forces to drastically cut the central budget, resulting in a reduction of nearly 5.2 billion yuan in general subsidies in Kaohsiung this year, the highest in the 6 capitals. Kaohsiung Mayor Chen Kamai said that this move is unfair to Kaohsiung citizens and has a heavy financial burden, and hopes that the legislature and executive will give more care to the south. He pointed out that the area of Kaohsiung is 11 times larger than Taipei, the proportion of elderly people over 65 years old exceeds 20%, the population is seriously aging, the municipal burden is heavy, and the reduction of subsidies has a great impact on public care, long-term care, and education, and called on all walks of life to pay attention to the special needs of southern counties and cities. News highlights: U.S. Treasuries have seen a sharp sell-off in the market amid a sharp sell-off on the Trump administration's deficit budget concerns and a poor response to the auction of new 20-year bonds, and long and short-term bond yields have soared. The yield of 30-year long-term bonds exceeded 5%, and the yield of 10-year Treasury bonds exceeded 4.6%, pushing up the interest rates of housing loans and car loans. Moody's downgraded the U.S. credit rating, adding to the shaking of investor confidence. The Republican Party plans to pass a tax cut version of the budget. The market is worried about fiscal deterioration and inflation, and the dollar index falls back below 100 on the 21st. Major bond-holding countries such as China and Japan have successively reduced their holdings of U.S. bonds, increasing market volatility. News highlights: the Central Meteorological Administration said on the 22nd that Taiwan was affected by southerly to southwesterly winds, and the weather was mostly cloudy to clear, with localized short-term thunder showers in the mountains south of Greater Taipei, Nantou, Chi, and the eastern half of the mountains in the afternoon. The temperature is 31 to 36 degrees, and the high temperature in the mountainous areas of central and southern China can reach more than 38 degrees, and the ultraviolet rays are strong. The front will pass on Saturday, and there will be brief showers or thunderstorms from north to south, especially in the central and northern parts of the country, and there is a risk of short-term heavy rainfall. The front is moving south on Sunday with rain continuing but slowing north. Northeasterly winds will bring more stable weather at the beginning of next week, with thunder showers still in the mountains in the afternoon. The southwest monsoon will strengthen from Wednesday and pass through the front on Thursday, which may bring the first wave of plum rain fronts and heavy rainfall this year, so it is necessary to pay attention to weather changes. News highlights: the number of Chinese medicine stores has decreased significantly, and the industry is facing a fault crisis. In March, the Ministry of Health and Welfare issued a 318 interpretation order, relaxing the qualifications for the sale of traditional Chinese medicines and allowing graduates of relevant departments and interns to apply for certificates for the sale of traditional Chinese medicines, which sparked heated debates among pharmacists, Chinese medicine practitioners and Chinese medicine dealers. Pharmacists criticized this move as exceeding the spirit of the legislation and fearing that it would affect the safety of drug use, and advocated that Chinese medicine should be included in the pharmaceutical industry and should be professionally checked by pharmacists. Chinese medicine practitioners and Chinese medicine traders supported the interpretation order, emphasizing that there was an urgent need for new blood due to the shortage of manpower in the industry, and that there was no right to adjust. The Ministry of Health and Welfare said that the interpretation order is in line with the Pharmaceutical Affairs Law, does not infringe on the rights and interests of pharmacists, and will continue to promote the sustainable development of the Chinese medicine industry. News highlights: NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang was named the smartest CEO in the United States by the language platform Preply for his excellent verbal skills and strategic thinking, with a score of 81.25. He uses clear and vivid metaphors to turn complex technologies into easy-to-understand stories that resonate with investors and technologists alike. According to Forbes, the wisdom of leaders is not only reflected in decision-making, but also in verbal intelligence, which can effectively communicate and motivate teams, which is the key to the success of modern enterprises. News highlights: significant progress has been made in the U.S. stablecoin legislation, with the Genius Bill passed by a procedural vote in the Senate, promoting the regulatory mechanism of stablecoins and improving the legitimacy and security of the market. Texas also passed SB 21 bill, which intends to establish a strategic reserve for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Motivated by this, Bitcoin once exceeded $109,800 intraday on the 21st, hitting a record high, and has risen nearly 16% since May. At the same time, the increase in corporate purchases of Bitcoin and the demand for safe haven have driven the influx of funds into the market, and the cryptocurrency fever continues to heat up. News highlights: mainland actress Zhu Yuanyuan died of cancer on May 17 at the age of 51. And the news was made public by her husband Xian Baking on the 21st, shocking the entertainment industry. She has been fighting cancer for 5 years, during which she continues to shoot movies and TV series. Zhu Yuanyuan once played the role of a cancer-fighting mother in the 2020 movie Send You a Little Red Flower, and played against her son played by Yi Yang-kyungzi. When Yi Yang-kyungzi came to Taiwan to attend the Cross-Strait Film Festival, she mourned Zhu Yuanyuan through online articles, expressing her deep sorrow and touching many fans. News highlights: when Cai Nguyen performed cello on the show Miss Bulletin City last year, she was dissatisfied with the host Xiao's questioning, and after publicly expressing it, she was criticized by netizens and closed Facebook for more than a year. On the 21st, she unexpectedly found that the original fan book was still there, and after deleting the old article, she shared the growth and life changes of the year, revealing that she had become thinner and learned to manage money, and also opened a new fan special, and invited fans to pay attention, which caused enthusiastic responses and attention. News highlights: Google recently warned 2 billion Gmail users around the world not to click on scam email links from no-reply at accounts.google.com. The email was disguised as an official notice that the user's account had been summoned by law enforcement to trick the user into clicking on a fake link to steal personal information and credit card information. Software developer Nick Johnson pointed out that the attack exploited a vulnerability in Google's system, where scammers sent messages through fake apps and set up fake login pages to obtain passwords. Google reminds users to be vigilant. Officials will not take the initiative to ask for passwords or personal information, and suspicious emails should be deleted immediately. News highlights: YouTuber Andy and Jianing broke up a few days ago. The man's accusation of 10 years of hard work was wasted, and the woman's family was investigated by the prosecutor. Recently, Jianing broke his silence and announced that the truth will be released at 6 p.m. on the 22nd at Papu, hinting that he will respond to negative news and accusations of infidelity by the man. Jianing has a number of evidence and screenshots of undisclosed conversations, which have attracted great attention from the outside world. However, netizens had different attitudes towards Jianing's teaser, questioning his motives and not paying for it, leaving messages saying that they cared about money issues rather than emotional disputes. The incident continues to ferment, and the truth is highly anticipated. News highlights: a car accident occurred in the Three Gorges district of New Taipei City on the 19th, and a 78-year-old man surnamed Yu drove violently, killing 2 female junior high school students and a female knight. The police investigation found that Yu wandered around the city for about 20 minutes that day and stayed by the park for more than 10 minutes, and there was only music in the car, no voice, for unknown reasons. At the time of the accident, Yu Wang first collided with the partition island and the car behind him, and then collided with pedestrians and riders at high speed at the intersection of Kwok Kwong Street and Kwokshing Street. Pink round ice was found in the car, and it is suspected that it had been purchased. The police ruled out drunk driving and drug driving, and the case is being investigated under the crime of manslaughter, and the details are under investigation. News highlights: in 2025, Liu Kun star will enter the life, bringing wealth and stability to the 4 zodiac signs of rabbit, snake, pig and sheep. The rabbit has stable financial luck and warm feelings, and the single person is easy to meet a secure partner. The snake partner's partner helps money, financial cooperation is smooth, and the relationship is pragmatic and stable. Pig people have good performance in the workplace, have opportunities for promotion and salary increase, and have a solid and stable relationship. Those who belong to the sheep are improving their wealth, their feelings are moving towards building the future together. And the single ones attract consensus objects. On the whole, the 4 zodiac signs will reap both wealth and love, ushering in a year of both reality and happiness. News highlights: a serious car accident occurred in the Three Gorges district of New Taipei City on the 19th, and a 78-year-old man surnamed Yu drove into a violent car and caused 3 deaths and 12 injuries. The police investigation found that before the incident, he had been driving around the city and stopped for a short time, and only music was playing in the car, and there was no unusual conversation or reaction. Although he has no drunk driving record, his record of causing an accident 5 years ago caused controversy. Other residents pointed out that there were frequent incidents such as jumping off buildings and burning charcoal in their community in the past, which was weird. The police will conduct further investigations into the offense of negligent death to clarify the cause of the incident. News highlights: while ICAI was drawn on the evening of the 22nd, and the jackpot was 670 million yuan. Sohu.com named the 4 zodiac signs who have strong financial luck in the near future and are expected to win the lottery and make a windfall. Those who belong to the rat are more likely to have good fortune and are suitable for testing their luck. Those who belong to the dragon will meet the peak of wealth and fortune, and the performance can be expected. Those who belong to the monkey have windfalls, and they have gained from investment and work. Those who belong to the ox are having strong financial luck, and there are great benefits in starting a business or working. Experts suggest that these 4 zodiac signs seize the opportunity to add wealth to their wealth. News highlights: artist Huang Zijiao was sentenced to 8 months in prison for possessing 2,259 juvenile videos, which severely damaged his image and completely suspended his acting career. Recently, it was reported that he and his wife Meng Zhengru divorced in a low-key manner, ending their 5-year marriage. Numerologist Zhang Bail predicted that Huang would decline from the age of 46 to the age of 70 a few months ago, and pointed out that the two were incompatible and their marriage would not last long. Although the two parties have not yet responded to the divorce rumors, the old remarks have been revealed, making the outside world sigh that the marriage is suspected to have come to an end. News highlights: mainland veteran actress Zhu Yuanyuan died of cancer and died on May 17 at the age of 51. She has been diagnosed with cancer since 2020 and has not disclosed her condition to the public, but she still insists on filming, and finally works as a new drama City Builder with Huang Xiaoming and Zhao Liying. Her husband, Xin Baking, confirmed the bad news and said that she was calm when she died. Zhu Yuanyuan won a number of acting awards with works such as My Sister, and the showbiz and fans were deeply shocked and regretted. News highlights: a man shared his personal experience on card that he had originally arranged to have dinner with his girlfriend's family, but due to the temporary closure of the restaurant, he accidentally bumped into his girlfriend walking out of the hotel hand in hand with other men, and was bumped into by his girlfriend's parents on the spot. The parents were furious, and the woman's mother even chased and beat her daughter, and the incident finally ended in a breakup. The man calmly handled the breakup and admitted that everything was purely a coincidence, and netizens called the plot more bloody than the 8 o'clock file, lamenting the fragility of modern emotional relationships. News highlights: Jolin Tsai and Peng Yuan were recently rumored to have quietly reunited for 6 years by the Land Network, which caused heated discussions among netizens. The two were rumored to be in a relationship in 2006, and recently attracted attention again due to a coincidence of community posts. Including on the eve of Valentine's Day in 2019, Jolin Tsai and Peng Yuan shared rose-related dynamics in the same restaurant, and Jolin Tsai traveled to Scotland in 2024, and the movie starring Peng Yuen was screened in the same place 2 months later. All kinds of signs made netizens suspect that the two had been together for many years. In response, the two sides have not officially responded. News highlights: Greenpeace reviewed the climate and energy policies of the Lai Ching-tak government on the first anniversary of his tenure on the 19th, and criticized the government for still prioritizing economic development, resulting in slow progress in carbon reduction and energy transition. The carbon emissions of electricity consumption in the semiconductor industry increased by 1.54%, and the carbon fee was only 300 yuan per metric ton, which is difficult to drive enterprises to reduce carbon emissions. Renewable energy accounts for only 11.9%, and the target of 20% by 2025 is likely to skip the vote. The government has also continued to expand its natural gas facilities, fearing that it will become dependent on fossil fuels. Greenpeace calls for stronger policy tools and higher carbon fees to effectively move towards net zero carbon emissions. News highlights: Supermicro CEO Yang Jianho announced the launch of the second generation of liquid cooling technology DLC2 before Computex, which is 40% more energy efficient than the previous generation, and the introduction of a modular data center solution DCBBS, emphasizing the advantages of energy saving and rapid deployment. In the face of Trump's tariffs, he pointed out that the global supply chain layout is complete, and the new factory in Malaysia has flexible production capacity to ensure cost stability. Liang reiterated that the Taiwan market is irreplaceable and will continue to invest. Working closely with NVIDIA, Supermicro will deepen its green, high-performance, and modular layout to meet the needs of AI and data centers.